Welcome to the Jeep Dive.
So if you're learning English, you probably know that feeling, right? The intermediate plateau.
hmm
You get so much, you understand a lot, but like sometimes the words just don't quite flow. It
Yeah,
feels like you're stuck maybe translating in your head, always kind of searching for that perfect word.
Absolutely. It's a really common place to be, and a lot of learners get stuck there because of something researchers sometimes call cognitive bottlenecks.
Bottleneck.
Yeah, it's like your brain just overthinks. And that fear, the fear of making a mistake, it sort of acts like a mental brake, stops the words from coming out freely.
Right.
I remember this one student, brilliant grammar on paper, knew all the rules, but actually speaking, zero confidence. The knowledge was there, just locked up.
Locked up by fear. That
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. So, okay, how do we unlock it? How do we clear that bottleneck?
Well, that's what we're diving into today. Exactly.
yeah.
We're looking at the 30-day English Fluency Challenge from the Master English podcast. Our goal here is to really unpack their blueprint, not just for learning words, but turning them into real communication power.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that James Clear quote, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems,
That's such a great quote for this.
isn't it? And this challenge, it really feels like it gives you that simple, doable system.
Hmm.
So talking about systems, what's the first practical thing this challenge asks people to do?
Okay, so it breaks down into 4 daily tasks. And the first one is surprisingly simple, but really powerful. Just speak for 5 minutes a day.
5 minutes.
That's it. Record yourself, talk about anything. The point isn't perfection at all. It's just building comfort, Making mistakes okay, learning from them instead of fearing them. Just getting used to talking.
Okay, 5 minutes of just talking. That sounds actually quite manageable. What's task number 2?
Task 2 builds on that. You learn 3 real-life phrases each day.
Real life. So not like textbook stuff.
Exactly, stuff you'd actually hear people say. And here's the key bit. You immediately use those phrases in a little story you make up.
Immediate use.
Yeah, that's crucial. It takes the phrase from just like abstract knowledge in your head to something you can actively use. Makes it stick, makes it yours.
I like that. Okay, so speak 5 minutes, learn and use 3 phrases. What's the third task? Something called shadowing.
Yes, shadowing. So you pick a native speaker, maybe from a TED Talk, YouTube, even Netflix, and you basically copy them, trying to mimic their rhythm, their intonation, the music of their speech.
Copying their rhythm. How does that help with those mental roadblocks we talked about?
Well, it's not just about making the sounds right. It's more like training your mouth and your brain to actually produce English flow naturally. It builds that muscle memory for speaking smoothly.
Okay.
It tackles the pronunciation and flow problems that often, trip people up when they try to speak faster.
Yeah.
It's like learning a dance by following the steps closely. You start to feel the rhythm.
Got it. Almost bypassing the overthinking part.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, and the fourth task, a daily mindset journal in English. That seems a bit different. Gratitude, goals, affirmations. How does journaling connect to speaking fluency?
This is so important. Learning a language isn't just mental gymnastics. It's emotional too, right?
Sure, it can be frustrating.
Exactly. So this journaling, it helps you handle the frustration. You focus on small wins, you reframe challenges, you build up this positive identity as someone who can speak English. It builds confidence from the inside out.
Okay, so it tackles the psychological side.
Absolutely. We actually saw this with a student, Maria. She had tons of vocabulary, but just froze up. After doing this whole routine for 30 days, especially the speaking and the journaling, wow, she was debating, laughing, just expressing herself. The change was huge.
That's incredible. So these 4 tasks work together, and you mentioned brain science earlier, rewiring pathways.
Yeah, exactly. That daily repetition, doing these 4 things consistently, it's literally building and strengthening the neural pathways for English in your brain.
Like paving a road.
Pretty much. The more you use that pathway speaking, using phrases, mimicking sounds, the smoother and faster your thoughts can travel down it, turning into spoken words without getting stuck.
And the motivation part. How do people stick with it?
That's where the psychology comes in. These aren't massive, scary tasks. They're micro habits, small things done every day.
Micro habits.
Yeah, they compound. Little by little, day by day, it adds up to a big transformation. Plus, there's a bonus tip in the challenge. Track your progress publicly. Share it somewhere. That accountability really helps keep you going.
Right, that external push.
Yeah.
So for someone listening who feels like they've tried everything and they're still stuck, what makes this system likely to work when others maybe haven't? How does it fight burnout?
I think it's that micro-habit design. Each piece is small. 5 minutes speaking, learn 3 phrases. It doesn't feel overwhelming.
Low barrier to entry.
Exactly. It makes showing up each day feel easier. And that mindset journal piece, it's actively helping you manage the doubt. The days you feel like quitting. It shifts you from, I can't do this, to, okay, what did I learn today? It's designed to make success feel, well, almost inevitable if you just follow the steps.
It really comes back to that idea then, doesn't it? Language isn't just something you learn, it's something you have to live.
Precisely.
This challenge, it's not about grammar drills in a vacuum. It's pushing you, gently but firmly, to actually live in English, even in these small daily ways. And the promise is pretty exciting. In 30 days, you might not recognize the speaker you've become.
Yeah. And that actually leads to a final thought, maybe something for you listening right now to really chew on. How might things change if you really shifted your whole approach from thinking about studying English to thinking about living it through these kinds of tiny, consistent habits every day? How might that change not just your fluency, but your whole feeling about learning itself? Could that kind of individual shift actually build towards something bigger, like a
Yeah.
like a global fluency revolution, one person at a time?